Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to our podcast and Santi podcast number 3 today.
Yes, we're on a roll.
It's
I'm
our
loving
hat
it, by
trick.
the way. This is very good.
Hey, well, I'm enjoying it, man. And you're good company. I think in each podcast, you've genuinely surprised me, honestly. Last time,
Is that a
segue,
good thing
it's a
or a
good
bad
thing.
thing?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. So I'm excited to see what the surprise will be in this one. Okay.
I will tell you lots of things about my life, Matthew.
Listeners, don't go anywhere, okay? For the next 15 minutes, this is gold. Okay, Sandy, we're talking about a subject close to our hearts, I think customer service.
It sounds boring at the beginning because who cares about customer service? But you care when you have bad customer service. I do
Oh,
really care. It
Sandy.
really takes away your joy. But the opposite is also true. Like if you have very good customer service, wow, it really makes your day. So yeah, it's more important than what we think. Yes.
It's true. You're right. You're right. In fact, I think our whole, well, I don't want to overstate it, but our view of a company or of a business often is determined by the way they treat us, no, the customer service. So if you have a nice experience, like you said, then we have a positive view of that company,
That actually reminds me of like Starbucks. They
right?
don't make the best coffee, but we could argue that it's actually a customer service company. The only thing that they provide is making you feel special by calling your name out loud and be
Hey.
nice to you. And then they serve you something similar to a coffee. So it's very important, yes.
Yeah, similar and 3 times more expensive than the coffee you would.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right.
That's
It's
part of
true.
the experience.
That's part of the experience. Okay, Sandy, listen, you've traveled, you've been around the world a few times. I have here at my fingertips the 10 most annoying customer service issues, according to a survey in the US. So, Sandy, come on, let's have a go.
The,
What do you
the
think?
first one is actually very frustrating when you can't get a human on the phone and you just talking to machine on and you can't get the point straight because sometimes, especially when we are frustrated by something and we just annoyed at something, we want to be listened.
Right.
And we know that machines can't do that. So
Mhm.
yes, one of the worst things is when you are stuck in a machine, you know, talking to the machine and not being able to talk to a human being.
I
Yes.
don't know how AI is going to affect this, Santi, but you're right. I agree with you.
Well, if they have
Sometimes,
a nice tone of voice and can fool us, and I think that they they might in the future, then it's fine.
okay, number 2 was rude salespersons or rude salespeople. Have you had an experience with a rude salesperson, Sandy?
Yeah, many times. Like these like little shops in towns, and you go there, and they just very busy looking at their phones and just talking to someone. In Spain, this happens quite a lot. Like they are, to be honest, I'm gonna be now a Karen. But you go there and you want to buy something, and these people don't really pay attention to you. Like you want to pay, and they're just talking to their friends, either on the phone or in person. And this happens quite a lot in Spain. They're just too happy with their life. They don't focus on work. I can
It's
say this because I'm
really you're
Spanish.
Spanish. You got the green light to say something.
Yes.
Actually, I got to be honest. Now that you mentioned that, Sandy, because Spanish people, my experience in Spain is that they're really friendly, really nice, really happy. I enjoy it, but in customer service, it's strange. Often that changes, and you can kind of disappear. You can spend a long time waiting, and people are very good at ignoring you. So it's true.
Yes.
I don't know why that is. It's kind of
Uh,
an odd.
it's all about Europe. I think in Europe
Hmm.
I never had. It doesn't matter about if you go to Spain or any other country in Europe. I think European people don't like working in customer service. It's not something that they want to do. Like they probably wanted to do something else and they ended up doing customer service.
Right.
So they hate their jobs.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how well you pay them. They don't even need tips. They really don't like the jobs. They don't enjoy it. And so they prefer talking to anyone else but you. Yeah.
Man, we've got a lot of material for this
You can
pod.
see how
You
frustrated I
can
am.
see this
I
is
will bet
therapy.
delay.
Therapy for both of us. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just mention two more bad experiences. So, Santi, take your pick from the ones that are left. What jumps out to you?
Well, this one is actually very important to me. Boring hold music or messages. Boring hold music, because there is nice hold music. It is some music you can actually sing to, or just like hum to, or if you have to wait, and we understand it's normal to wait, at least make us wait with nice music, not this just like program, terrible, just annoying, boring music. Just make it interesting. It's the least you can do if you make us wait.
That's a great phrase. The least you can do. Thank you, Santi. I like that. So, Santi, if it's a good point you mentioned, but I think you're going to have to be a bit more proactive here, my friend. Can you give us a suggestion of exciting or entertaining
Well,
hold music?
every person has its own taste. I mean, there's lots of nice jazz music
Oh, right.
that is not
Okay.
bebop. So it's something that, because you want something that everyone will like not only
Right.
like experimental people, but everyone. So jazz is a nice choice, but you could actually just go with the music that is sounding on the on any radio, and just like put something that is more uh, current, and yeah, and it will be better than just like some cheap stuff that you found on internet.
I like it. I like it. And I think the listeners, we appreciate the passion with which Santi spoke about that. No,
Yeah, of
very
course.
good. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I'm going to also jump in with a complaint, and it has to do with the phone. It's true. The hold music generally is poor. I agree with you. And sometimes there's so many steps. So press one if you want to speak to this department, then press two if you want to speak to an extension, and it just goes on and on. So I guess connected to the lack of human attention, too many steps to get to where you need to
Mm.
go. Okay, very good. There are bad experiences. We don't want the pod to be a negative experience, listeners. So we're going to focus now on useful
I
expressions.
will count this, Matthew, as my, I need to vent sometimes. So it's good for my mental health. Thank you very much, Matthew, for listening.
Well, we live to give here at Trainlang, Santi. You know that. Let's dive into this useful expression, Santi. Let's start with, I don't know. What do you think? A restaurant?
Mhm.
A restaurant? Greeting customers, making people feel welcome. Can you just give us a couple of examples, phrases that the listeners maybe could have in mind as we, I don't know, even in holiday season as we're moving around?
Of course, when we go to a restaurant, like they always welcome us. So welcome would be a useful expression. Good
Hmm.
morning, good afternoon, good evening. And once you're seated, they may ask you, what would you like to have today?
Right. Very good. Very good. That's nice, huh? Very good. Excellent. I like this one here, which we can adapt to a restaurant as well. If we're working in the service industry, so maybe you're working and you're needing to use English to speak to customers. Thank you for choosing our restaurant. Thank you. And maybe if you're on a holiday, there's lots of restaurants to choose from. So that could be a nice start.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Very good. Sandy, what if we're working in the service industry and we have to deal with a complaint or an inconvenience, a delay? Are there any expressions in English that we could use to kind of ease the situation?
Yes, of course. We can just ask, how can I assist you today? Or what was the
Right,
problem?
right. Very good, very good. And it's always nice to thank people for their patience, even if they're not being particularly patient. No, we can thank them for that. Good. Now, Santi, off air, you mentioned to me something about budget airlines.
Oh, yeah, budget airlines. But you want the bad experiences or the good ones?
Well, you better start off with a bad experience, and then we'll
Oh,
pick it up
man.
from there.
The problem with bad experiences is that right now I'm married to an Irish person, and I can't talk bad about Ryanair because she's the best defender of Ryanair. Every time I talk badly about Ryanair, she just says, "What about this? What about that?" So yeah, Ryanair is not the only one. There's some
It's
others
important we mention that. Okay,
like
listen,
Volotea.
there are other budget airlines available.
I hope they don't listen. No, but it's normal that in budget companies, because they need to cut costs and make a profit, which actually Ryanair is the most profitable airline in the world.
Wow.
They, of course, they will have lots of complaints because it's normal. It's part of their business. I remember once that I was going to London and they left me in Birmingham because the weather was bad, and we had to go on a bus, on a coach from Birmingham to London at night. And I will always remember the driver had a bell attached to his head so he wouldn't fall asleep.
No way.
Exactly, yeah. He would go like, ding, ding.
Oh man.
He was ringing the bell every time he would just like doze off. So he would wake up and we would wake up, scared. Maybe
Are we
not
still alive?
arriving.
Oh wow, fantastic. Well, I've never seen a driver with a bell
I
attached.
have good experiences though.
Okay, give us a good one.
Actually, this my wife will like because my best experience was with Aer Lingus. We
Okay.
went to New York, and I remember my friend whom I was traveling with. He wanted to buy souvenirs, and I said we will be late. And he says, if we're late, I will pay for the flight. And I said okay. It sounded like a bluff, but we arrived 1 hour late. And once we arrived, the lady just said, "What? How can I help you?" And I says, "Well, we just arrived 1 hour late." And she said, "It's fine. When do you want to travel? When's the next time that you want to travel?" And we said, "Anytime." And they put us in another flight. And then we realized it was because they had some like subway problems that we didn't experience, and they just gave us for free a new flight or something. And I will
Fantastic.
always remember Aer Lingus will be always in my heart. Always my favorite airline was because of their customer service.
Look at this, another Irish connection. Wow,
Yeah, good and
thank you.
bad.
Amazing, amazing,
Gotta love
fantastic.
them or hate them.
Well, listen, on that note, offering solutions and assisting with problems, if you have to do that in English, here's a couple of interesting, useful expressions that we can use. For example, let's find a solution together. I like that. It's very inclusive, Santi, in solving the problem. No? Let's find a solution together. Or perhaps we'll take care of it right away. Music to our ears when we've been waiting for a long time and someone says, don't worry, we'll take care of it right away. That's what we want to hear.
Man, that makes me feel better, Matthew. You know how to do this. I wish.
Santi, let's conclude with
Yeah.
problem resolution. So, any expressions we can highlight for the listeners how to resolve a problem?
Of course. What we want to hear as customers is, let me make it up to you. Or I apologize for the misunderstanding or what has happened to you. Or here's what I can do to resolve the issues. Things that, of course, you know the customer, what he wants to hear, at least make him feel understood, or that the help is on its way, that something is being done. Because what we need is comfort.
Wow, Santi, look at this. This is good. This is really good. I like it. Thank you very much. Well, we've had a few useful expressions there, listeners. I hope that's been useful for you. Santi, if the listeners want to continue their learning experience with Trainlang, what would you recommend?
Of course, the best choice is with us in Trainlang. So if you want to try a class with us, just go to www.campus.trainlang.com and you can study with Matthew or me or any other very good teachers that we have. You can book them.
Fantastic, Santi. Thank you. Well, I've really enjoyed our podcast together today. Santi, thank you very much for your help.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Really.
See you next time.
Had fun.
Hey, goodbye.
Bye-bye.